Let me tell you a story about a manager who was really struggling. You know that feeling? When you're trying so hard to be a great leader for your team, but you just feel stuck. Well, after weeks of this, they finally sat down with their own coach and said something that's actually incredibly brave.
And boom, that one sentence right there, it opened up this huge, tangled question that we now call the authenticity paradox. The manager felt like they were being pulled in two completely different directions, always asking themselves,
Think about it. They said if they acted too professional, buttoned up, they felt cold and distant. But if they were too real, sharing their own doubts and struggles, they were terrified of being unprofessional, maybe even a burden. It was this nonstop, exhausting tug-of-war in their head.
And this isn't just a weird feeling this one manager had. Nope, it's a very real, recognized psychological state. But here's where things get interesting. Their coach didn't offer a simple solution. Instead, they offered a totally new way to look at the problem. And it all started with a question that kind of turns everything on its head.
The coach was basically like, hold on. What if this idea of a single, authentic you is the problem? They suggested that what we often think of as our raw, unfiltered self, well, that might not be the whole story. In fact, a lot of the time, it's just an old survival program running on autopilot since we were kids.
So it turns out pretty much all of us are being run by these invisible scripts. Think of them like background software on your computer. They're these automatic behaviors we learned a long time ago to make sure we felt safe and loved and, okay. And these things are called drivers. And there are 5 main ones: be perfect, please people, try hard, be strong, and hurry up. These little scripts are chugging away in the background all the time, shaping how we react to things without us even realizing it. So the big question for our manager was, which one of these was calling the shots?
To figure that out, the coach became a bit of a detective. They asked a really simple but brilliant question. They said, hey, tell me, how do you prepare for a tough conversation with someone on your team?
And there it was. Bingo. It wasn't just about being prepared, it was that intense need to plan for every single possibility, to have the perfect, flawless response for anything that could come up. That revealed the manager's dominant driver. Be perfect. That deep down belief that their worth, their safety, it all depended on getting everything exactly right.
And this leads to a really crucial idea, the difference between our authentic adult self and what's called our adapted child. See, your adult self wants to do things well because you genuinely care about quality and impact. But that adapted child part of us, where these drivers live, it's motivated by fear. It's screaming, you have to do this perfectly or your worth is 0.
And this explains the paradox perfectly. The harder our manager tried to be the perfect coach, the more they were coming from that old anxious script. Their team probably couldn't put a finger on it, but they could feel that strain. They could sense the performance. And it just felt fake, inauthentic.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, great, now I know I have a script running my life. What do I do about it? How did this manager even begin to get out of that trap? Well, the answer is so simple it's almost deceptive. But trust me, it's not easy. It all starts with the pause.
The coach gave the manager a simple 3-step plan. First, just notice when the driver kicks in. Feel that internal pressure mounting. I have to get this right. Second, and this is the magic part, just pause, take a breath, stop. Because in that little gap, you get to do step 3. Consciously choose how to respond from your adult self instead of just reacting from that old scared script.
Now, to really get why this works, the coach introduced another key idea: discounting. See, these drivers don't just make us act a certain way. They actually make us ignore or twist reality to fit their narrative.
Every single driver works by discounting some basic truth about life. The manager's Be Perfect driver, it was constantly ignoring the fundamental reality that humans are not perfect. We all make mistakes. A Please People driver discounts your own needs. A Be Strong driver pretends we don't need help. Each one is basically a defense mechanism against the truth we find, well, uncomfortable.
So here it is, the big insight. True authenticity isn't about being more real or less professional. It's about having the courage to stop ignoring the facts, including the fact that you're an imperfect human being, and just respond to what's actually happening.
And for the manager, this was a game changer. It completely reframed their whole problem. That horrible conflict they felt, it suddenly wasn't a conflict at all.
This is the breakthrough moment, right here. Being professional isn't about putting on a mask. It's about showing up as your most mature, present, reality-based self, your adult self. It's actually the opposite of being fake. The manager finally saw it. They didn't have to choose between being a human and being a leader. They could be their whole authentic self within the boundaries of their professional role. I love this idea. The role is a container, not a costume.
And here's the really beautiful part. As soon as the manager started operating from that authentic adult, admitting when they didn't have an answer or acknowledging a mistake without shame, it created a space where their team felt safe enough to be authentic too. Real connection, real coaching, it finally started to happen.
But just when the manager thought they had it all figured out, the coach revealed there was another layer to this. Because once you start noticing your own drivers, it doesn't just change how you act, it completely changes how you listen.
See, every conversation we have is happening on two channels at the same time. There's the social level, the actual words coming out of our mouths. But then there's the psychological level, what's really going on underneath. All our drivers, our fears, our needs, they're all communicating on that hidden channel. And that leaves us with a final, really critical question to chew on. If your Be Perfect driver is busy rehearsing your own flawless reply while someone is talking, and their Please People driver is busy trying to say what they think you want to hear, are you two even having a real conversation? Or are you both completely missing the part that actually matters?